Look at this. Community update number 30, patch number 8 for Baldur's Gate 3 promises 3 major updates. Number 1 is crossplay. So as we look forward in BG3's life for the year anniversary, I'm surprised they're still releasing stuff, but well done, Larian. They are releasing crossplay. So if you're on PS5, Xbox, PC, Mac, you'll be able to play D&D together or BG3 together, which is truly the essence of D&D. And here's the great news. It'll be like a real D&D game where people cancel on you all the time. So now you can get people to cancel on you across any platform. That's exciting. I'm very excited about that. So that's good time. That's a good time. We can look forward to that. Also, the game's on sale for now. I don't know for how long, but that's good to know. I'll skip this. This is the meat and potatoes of it. Then they're releasing photo mode. So for those of us who spent way too much time in this game, they're releasing photo mode, which is amazing news. If you want to have some cool pictures, you want to take a screenshot, make it a background, a phone thing. If you want to get a thumbnail for a video that you're making, maybe for some of us. But this is really cool. I love that you have like different options. And look at Lae'zel with her amazing posture. Fame, I want to live forever. Look at this. I love that. It's just a great picture. And then you can set the scene. You can remove certain characters if you want to, because Karlach is the only one that matters. Let's all be honest. Will disappears like in everybody's playthrough because nobody cares. And there we go. We're left with the meat and potatoes. And then you can add some extra effects, I guess. So that's pretty cool. You can add, look at this. You can add borders. You can make stickers to add to your scenes, which is super cute. Look at this. A lovely little scene with Gale going, ooh, and then whoever this is covering their face because it's inappropriate. I love the little Will sticker. That's adorable. All right, here's the meat and potatoes of this patch, which I'm super excited about, and I will be making separate videos covering each one of these classes or subclasses. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to look at what the D&D tabletop version of these abilities are, and then we'll make educated guesses on what it's going to be, and maybe make some suggestions of builds around it. So, the Bard brings in the College of Glamour. So the College of Glamour focuses mostly on Mantle of Inspiration. That's its bread and butter. It gives them temp hit points, but it also usually allows them to move. Like they get, as a bonus action, they get to move like half their movement speed or something, or as a reaction. So I wonder if that'll translate to them getting extra movement speed, as opposed to like, as a reaction, you move half your movement. And then enemies get to be charmed. So you're able to control the battlefield really effectively as a bard with a College of Glamour. And I think that's going to be a great time. In a full party, that's amazing. As a solo run, probably possible as well. But having any ability to make enemies lose their turn in BG3 is absolutely goated. So that's going to be great. I think this is going to be a really, really strong class for us. Items like the Bang of the Mystic Scoundrel will come into play. As always, it's late. Falar Alluve will probably be enormous. And I'm really looking forward to the College of Glamour. It'll be strong, and I love the effects that they have here. Path of the Giants. So this says that you don't need to have any additional potions to chug to pump those muscles. So the Giant's Rage passive that grants strength and size. So I wonder how this is going to compare to the Frenzy Barbarians that like to throw things. This feels like it's going to be that, but like turned up to 11. We're going to have to look specifically at the abilities that they get. We'll look at the D&D release of Path of the Giants with, I think, this is a fairly new release. Path of the Giants, I think, came out with Bigsby. So this is not like an original 2014 release. This came in 2023, I want to say, or 2022. It's been a bit. So it's not all the way from 2014. This is a fairly recent subclass. So I'm kind of keen to see how much damage Karlach's going to be able to do with this. My personal favorite, the Death Domain Cleric. Okay, so they're the class that they finally brought in Toll the Dead for. One of my favorite cantrips. It's so strong. It does a D8 damage, but if the enemy's already taken damage, it does a D12 instead. So it's a really strong cantrip that does significant damage, and it scales up. Plus, they've added the Divinity Original Sin 2 ability to explode corpses. That's not a thing. In D&D, that's not a thing that I remember of, at least. So here, you're setting up mass explosions. I want to do that. I want to have a Path of the Giant Barbarian that picks up all the bodies, throws them on the enemies, and then for good measure, the Cleric Death Domain goes kablooey. That's going to be awesome. So that's probably when we're going to redo a run when this patch releases for sure. I'm probably going to go Death Domain Cleric just because it sounds amazing. Next up, we've got our Druid Circle of the Stars. So this is a phenomenal subclass. I've had many players at my table run this. And in this case, they give us 3 starry forms: the Archer, the Chalice, and the Dragon. The Archer deals radiant damage with astral arrows, so sort of a bow-using druid. We've got the Chalice, so there's a spirit that appears usually. But I guess this is wild shapes. And you regain hit points, anybody who's close to you, which I think is really potent. It's like every turn they'd gain... I don't know if it's hit points or temporary hit points, but it's a good way of doing restoration passively, I want to say. And then the other one, the Dragon, gives extra damage and bonus to con rolls. So that'll be something that I look forward to. And the graphics, again, look at this. I love the little visuals, VFXs that they've added to all of this. So you can enhance your role as a healer, fighter, and strategist. That's exactly. It'll be very, very good. Oath of the Crown Paladin. I guess you swear a new oath. The power to aid your allies and disrupt your foes. Righteous Clarity, taunt enemies, which is kind of incredible. As of right now, the only real taunt ability we have is like the Fighter Battle Master, I want to say, that makes it so they have disadvantage if they don't attack you. This is like a proper taunt. So this will be very strong as a frontliner paladin that keeps your allies safe, can take a beating and just get, you know, Paladin smite for days. So this will be an exciting new subclass as well. The Arcane Archer is the one I think I'm least excited for. This is fine. You can do a lot with your arrows, banish enemies, do extra damage. But we already have the Ranger. So it's cool. It's like a Battle Master at range. I'll see what they do. It's probably going to be really, really good in terms of practical use and damage and controlling the battlefield. So we'll take a look. But that's probably of all the ones they've brought in, the one I'm like, okay, why not? But we already have a bunch of... You can see that when he shoots here, or is that Astarion? I can't quite tell. No, it's a Tav. When they shoot, they're doing AoE damage with their arrow. Without having to use a special arrow. It just looks like a regular arrow in the give. So, maybe. We'll take a look. The Monk Drunken Master. Hell yes. So you can consume alcohol to regain key points. You can intoxicate your enemies. You can buff your AC and your chance to hit. And I love this ability they've called Sobering Realization, which sobers up drunk targets dealing physical and psychic damage. I think we've all had maybe a day or two of sober realization here and there. But the Drunken Master is going to be phenomenal, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Punch people drunk. Good times. Yeah, another fighter subclass like the Psy Warrior or the... what's the one where you create copies of yourself? I forget the one. I think it's the Critical Role one. The name isn't coming back to me immediately, but that one would have also been really cool to control the battlefield with like your duplicate. Echo Knight, that's it. And Echo Knight would have been really, really cool. Especially since we already have Trickster Cleric. We could have leaned on the same mechanics, but I'm sure the modding community will come through for this. The Swarm Keeper Ranger is awesome. So you get swarms that assist you in combat. They have Jellyfish that deal extra lightning damage. The Flurry of Moth that deals psychic damage and can blind the enemies. And then, of course, the thing that almost everybody's going to pick, which is the Legion of Bees. I can already see the Oprah meme, Bees for Everyone. You deal psychic damage or piercing damage, and you push enemies back, which is huge because you want to create space around you. So this is going to be cool. And you can even see here in the little GIF, you get teleportation abilities. So controlling and moving around the battlefield becomes a core feature, which is super important for Rangers. Typically, you can be in melee, you can be a melee ranger, but most Rangers are going to be at distance, and creating distance without taking attacks of opportunity is always a good time. The Swashbuckler Rogue, phenomenal, plays really well at the table, and I expect it will play really, really well in BG3. When you attack enemies, first you can disarm them, but the fancy footwork allows you to move without taking attacks of opportunity. And I think Swashbuckler, if memory serves checking, is the rogue subclass that adds charisma, I want to say, to its initiative modifier, which means you're going to be a high initiative, hypermobile, hard to pin down, insane DPS fighter. So you're going to go in, do a bunch of damage, and then get the hell out of dodge without them being able to do anything, and you're going to do that very early in combat. I think this will play really, really well in combat as you kind of go into the fight. Get your licks into an enemy that's in the center, and then get the hell out of dodge. So that'll be very neat, and I think this is going to end up being a super strong subclass. The Sorcerer Shadow Magic. Of all of them, I don't really know what I'm expecting out of this. So you work in darkness. It kind of has like Shadow Monk vibes. You can shadow walk between dim light and darkness. You can also summon your dog, or a Hand of Ill Omen. And you use Strength of the Grave to, I think, pop back up. That might be closer to the half-orc racial, right? Where you come back to 1 hit point. So the dog looks cool, I'll be honest. It's like an evil Scratch. Scratch could never be evil, but it's kind of like an evil Scratch. I don't know what to expect. So we'll see. This is one of those, we'll see how it plays. That's it. I'll probably test it, but I'm kind of unsure, ambivalent about it. The Hexblade, of course, is a classic. Everybody loves a Hexblade. I was surprised it wasn't one of the core choices in BG3. I'm happy to see it come in here. They made a pact with an entity from the Shadowfell that summons a magical weapon, or comes in the form of a magical weapon. You can curse your enemies and force their souls to do your bidding. So if you kill a humanoid, generally, or a beast, you can bring them back from the dead, and their spirit will fight for you for 10 turns. It's kind of cool. So you have like a sort of a pet class Warlock. This is, you know, the Shadow Lantern summon that you get, the evil Shadow Lantern you can make in Act 2. I think that's what the graphic will look like one of those spirits that we see here, maybe. And then you'll have a pet, and it'll do some healing to you. So why not? It'll be interesting to see a pet-based Hexblade that isn't, or Warlock that isn't, what's the one, the Great Old One, or there's the subclass of the Fiend. I think it's like an imp or a quasit. This will be a little bit, it's a less permanent pet, but a very effective pet. I wonder if you'll be able to have multiple pets serve you. So we'll have to take a look and see if you can have multiple one of these shadows. The Blade Singing Wizard is a phenomenal subclass. So the Blade Singer gets bonus to armor class, gets bonus attacks, gets just becomes kind of an untouchable spellcaster. You still wear light armor, but you're walking around typically with like up to 25, 30 AC without too much trouble. It's a really, really, really potent frontlining wizard. It really transforms the class. So in BG3, we currently have, like, if you want to play that sort of style, you have the Abjuration Wizard that creates the Frost Shield. This is independent of having that Frost Shield. You're walking around and you're boosting yourself a lot. So I'm expecting maybe like Green Flame Blade to make a showing, some of these cantrips that are pretty essential to this subclass to show up to make it possible. And that might be, I don't know what spell effect that is. That's a new one. And so we'll see. We'll see what this subclass ends up being. But in the tabletop, it's phenomenal. And I think in BG3, it's going to be one of the outstanding new subclasses. People are going to be surprised at just how good this subclass is. The question is, are we getting these versions of the classes? Like the College of Glamour, I think, had a 2024 update. I'm guessing it's the original 2014 version. I'd be surprised if we're getting the new 2024 D&D 5.5 edition of things, but time will tell. So overall, patch 8 looks to be phenomenal, promising. We will do separate videos in each one of these subclasses, I think, to dive in a little bit and do some educated guesswork, and we'll look at the D&D version and then what it might be in BG3 and suggest some builds around it. And that's it for patch 8. I hope you guys are excited for it as I am. I'm flabbergasted that Larian continues to release these patches free of charge. You look at other companies, I would have expected them to charge like $2.99, $3.99, you know, like a nominal fee. I would have paid for it. And this is why they're goated. I just, you know, whatever they work on next, man, I'm for sure going to be the first one in the line buying whatever it is they make.